be on before you. He's a strong personality.
Honestly, I wouldn't even. I just got here.
DeWayne, you said one of your goals at Duke was to leave a legacy as you enter the pros, kind of along those same, that same wavelength. What type of legacy are you trying to leave here for the Bills?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it'll be along the same lines. Honestly, the best part is I just don't have school anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. But outside of that, I can't wait to get here, learn the landscape, learn Buffalo, and actually figure out where I can make the biggest impact. Where will be technically my community outside of this facility and the team. So I got to get my boots on the ground, figure it out. But who knows? That's TBD, honestly.
You'll be working with Ed Oliver now. How much about his game have you watched? Has he maybe reached out to you since you've been picked? And just what are your impressions of now getting to be his teammate?
Yeah, so one, I'm stoked. To play alongside a guy like that. He's a monster. I just remember when he came out, I was kind of coming into college. So that's a lot of what I saw was him. But, through the pros, he continued to dominate. And you talk about, he might have reached out. That'd be cool. But honestly, my phone's been all over the place. So I haven't really got to go through everything yet.
How has today, since we last talked to you last night, last 24 hours, does it feel real, being here and going through everything today? What's that been like?
This is a fever dream, man. It's crazy. I took my little nap last night, hopped up, got on the plane this morning. And I don't think anything seemed real yet. I'll probably Saturday night when I actually get to sit down and, get a good night's rest. But I'm just so excited to be here. I'm excited to be around so many great people. And I just got two guys get picked up, Javon Solomon and Eddie. I'm not going to say his last name because I'll mess it up. But two really great guys I got to know throughout this process. So, it's just crazy how the world's coming together.
What's it like getting to tour the facilities and get to the stadium and do all that fun stuff?
It's unreal. It's unreal. The NFL is obviously the highest league in the world. So, just getting to be here and then seeing, my name on a jersey for the first time, just seeing the locker, it was mine, but it wasn't really mine. I don't know. I keep saying, it's just so surreal for me.
Maybe one of the most emotional, we saw it's been blown up on the Twitter, the hug with your dad.
Yeah.
Just how meaningful that was to do that.
Yeah, so you don't see that side much out of him. You hear the language a lot though in the stands, but it's just because he's so passionate, so proud of me, and I always know that. And I think this right here was peak for him. Usually he only does stuff like that at graduation. The last time I saw him cry like that. So it means the world for me to be able to do that for him, and not only him but my mom. But it really, when you get that emotion out of him, that's second to none. That's my guy.
There's a video that Duke put out, and there was a baseball highlight of you, and there was someone in the background screaming when you got the hit. Was that your dad?
Yeah, that was him.
What's it like having that? Just somebody that kind of you always hear.
Yeah, so you start playing travel sports, about 6, 7? It's been that way since. I don't hear it anymore. I've kind of been conditioned to it, but, that's just how he is. It doesn't matter. I grew up playing soccer, like you saw baseball and everything else, but he didn't know nothing about soccer, but he knew about hustle and compete. So that's what he said for 60 minutes every time I was out there on the soccer field. So, it's just been consistent. Once I really got into football, that's when it kind of really took off.
DeWayne, you gotta be smart to go to Duke. We know that, but how much is that part of your game? Kind of being smart and understanding, at this level, all the different nuances of playing the position.
Yeah, so you got to study the game at the end of the day, and it's week by week, and especially at this league, you're playing with the best the best coaches, best players. Everybody's good. Everybody's elite, I'd even say. So you got to do anything to find yourself an edge. And for me in college, that's a big thing for me, trying to know what's coming before it actually happens. So a lot of times, you'll see me pre-snap, I'm up there with the linebackers kind of standing up, looking around, trying to figure out what sets I can recognize, just to get a little head start.
I read you're the first 3-time captain in Duke history. What does that mean to you, and why is that? Why were you chosen?
Yeah, I think it means the world to me because I think my teammates viewed me as the ultimate teammate at the end of the day, and that's what I set out to do every day is be the best teammate I can be and just be an overall good person, right? And not only that, but being a good person and not being a pushover. Right, so being the standard, and that's something we pride ourselves on, specifically these last 2 years at Duke, because my first 3 years were really rough. But these last 2 years, we kind of built a foundation and laid it down in stone, and to be a main part of that, I think that's the coolest thing for me in my college journey.
Is that one of the reasons why you chose to stay at Duke? Your senior year, you could have went anywhere. You you chose to stay at Duke? Is that one of the reasons?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you talk about culture, you talk about love, you talk about brotherhood. That's who we are, and that's what I hope they will always be. I mean, there's a lot of great guys in that locker room, and, with NIL and everything else, obviously as someone who was having success, I had opportunities. But nothing meant more to me than the relationships that I had with those guys. And plus, I knew we had in that locker room. I knew we could play at an elite level.
It's tough for Mr. Duke to leave Duke.
Excuse me?
Would have been tough for Mr. Duke to leave Duke.
Oh, it'd have been bad. It'd have been bad. It'd have been bad.
Camp out for basketball tickets?
Oh, no, sir.
Do you have any friends who did it for you?
I had a lot of friends that camp out. I'm not that level crazy. I've probably been to 5, 6 basketball games my whole career there. I'm just not a big fan of crunched in like sardines for 60 minutes of the game. But, I love those guys, though.
DeWayne, I don't know your schedule offhand from Duke, but I'm assuming you did play against Drake Maye.
Yep.
Now he's in the division now.
Yep.
Got drafted by the Patriots. What do you know and can you say about playing against him?
Yeah, I owe him a couple sacks from this past year. It's funny, Drake, first of all, he's a great dude, great competitor, he's a great quarterback, and he's a really smart guy. And I think a lot of guys were giving him a lot of slack earlier in this draft cycle, obviously before he got picked. But he's an elite competitor, and he doesn't really say much on the field either. That's one of those guys, like, he'll do something crazy to you and doesn't say anything and just goes about his business and scores touchdowns. So, I can't wait to get after him and continue to compete.